Good morning. Happy Thursday. So, Grant Cardone's 10X conference starts tomorrow. I'm going to be watching it. Looks like it's cool and exciting. You certainly can't hurt looking at any of that stuff. So, success leaves clues. What can we learn from Grant? Well, we can learn that really he kind of started his career when he was about my age. I'm 54. He was about 52 when he really started kind of turning into Grant Cardone, what is now Grant Cardone. And that was in the last financial crisis that he did that. He's actually 62, 63, older than I, he certainly looks and certainly acts. So what does he do? Well, he's about creating the financial outcome, right? I mean, that's really his focus. And he wakes up every morning and he says the question that he asks himself is, who's got my money? And certainly that creates a focus of where can I go make money today? That's obviously what he's always thinking about. And then he writes down his goals for that day. What is it that I'm going to do that day? Goals for that day, goals for that week. And he has very defined goals figured out at all times. I mean, he's always got a clear path of what it is that he wants to create. But the other side of him is he is all about his ethics. He is all about that. He stands by his deal. He stands by the deal that he cuts. He's fair. He's fair with his people. He wants to have a good product. He wants to have a high-end product. He doesn't necessarily want the highest end stuff. I mean, he got into that later in his career, but he wants to have a very quality place to live that he gives to quality people. He's all about ethics. So he's there to work harder than everybody else and to over-deliver to the people that he takes care of. So he always wants to over-deliver to the people that rent from him and give them a better product than the guy across the street. And then, of course, he says that way I can charge a little bit more than the guy across the street. So, he's not out there to rip people off. He's not out there to sell you a bag of nonsense. He delivers, and he delivers with all of his products. So, like his sales product, his approach is, here's my stuff for free. You give me a percentage of whatever of your sales I increase. I'm going to produce the result for you. And then once I produce that result, then you'll pay me back. And by the way, that's what he did in Undercover Billionaire is he went to people and he said, I'm going to go produce a result for you for no money. And then once I produce that result, then I want you to come back to me and then let's cut a deal. Same approach Colonel Sanders took, by the way. That was how he got people to put his chicken in their stores, is he said, here, I'll do this for free. I'll give you this chicken recipe. I'll make it for free. And then whatever your increase in sales, I want a percentage of the increase in sales. That's what Colonel Sanders did. So, I think there are a lot of really good things to learn from Grant. Now, certainly, he also can teach you the actual rules about the real estate game. I mean, his instincts are amazing. I mean, as soon as he hears about a deal, he can tell you what the numbers are. You can just tell that this guy has lived and breathed this stuff forever. But what does he do? He wakes up every morning with a plan. He sets out very specific goals for that day and for that time. And then he makes sure that he over-delivers to the customer. He wants a quality product for a quality customer. He's not going to negotiate his ethics. He'll say it again and again and again. I'm not going to negotiate my ethics. He talked about a story. He went to a city that he had not been in, a city and a state that he had not been in. He said, and this was my mistake. Normally I do my due diligence. He says, normally I shop for several years in a city before I start buying there. Well, he went into, might have been Pennsylvania, might have been Philadelphia, and bought a project, and the contract said regular and customary kind of stuff. Well, he didn't know what regular and customary meant, and then when he hired lawyers in the area and they started telling him, he immediately called up the guy and said, hey, I'm sorry, I messed this up. I can't go through with this deal. And he gave him options. He goes, look, I messed this up, so if you take my earnest money, you take my earnest money. But we can still do this deal if we do it this way. And he restructured it so that it made sense for something. And the guy did it. The guy said, okay, because he was straightforward about it. And he said, and he knew, he goes, look, if I lost it, I lost it. It was my fault. I didn't do my due diligence. It wasn't his fault. So wake up with a plan, know what your outcome is, work harder than the other person, over-deliver, and stand by what you do. Have your ethics. That way you always know where you stand. And you know that this is the position that you're going to take. You know, when you get into those quandaries, if you've already decided, you know, where you're going to land on the fence, then you know what decision you're going to make, which is going to make it easier. So that when you get in a dilemma, you're able to make that decision quickly and move on. Those are the lessons we can learn from Grant, and I think they're really good lessons. You know, the specificity with which he approaches his day in terms of his outcome is great. The other thing, and I've talked about this, that you learn, I think, from watching Undercover Billionaire, is how he celebrates his victories. He teaches his brain that this is good. And we should do this in every area. We should do this with losing weight. We should do this with our relationship. When something goes well and we do something right, celebrate it. Celebrate the hell out of it. Teach your brain this is good, and literally do it physically. Dance around. You know, he does that. He dances around. He drives around in his car. Celebrate and enjoy what you're doing, and then move on to the next thing. So those are my lessons today. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.